It's time to feel the rage. Welcome to Film Rage, where we talk movies. We are still stuck in our homes, streaming all we can and hoping that one day soon we just may be able to go back to the cinema. But in the meantime, directors and actors beware, as you cannot hide from the rage. My name is Bryce, and I'm part of the Film Rage crew, which also includes Jim. Hello, Jim.
Hey, hey.
And he is half man and half amazing. It is Murray. Hey there, Merman.
Yo.
So with the introductions out of the way, let's rage on.
But he is all merman. Oh, baby. 2 weeks in a row for merman. I have a total mer boner going on right
I still hate technology, so.
Yeah, but I still have my mer boner. Well, thanks to all who've been supporting us. If you love our independent podcast, please support us and join the growing Film Rage community by joining our membership at buymeacoffee.com/Film Rage YYC. All members get special episodes and content only for members. Along with all members that sign up, will get a special limited edition Film Rage merch item. If you cannot commit to a membership, you can still buy us a movie rental and dare us to see a terrible, terrible film. Wink, Bryce. Just like our friend Scott from Shoot the Frick, or just like the podcast It Goes Down in the PM just did. Thanks to all our adopted favorite state, Virginia, which will stay our favorite until another location has more listeners. Go Who's. Wow. Go Virginia.
Right. Yes.
Now we got a commercial for our sponsor, which we haven't done for how long? Months?
Too long, Jim. Too long. Let's get back in touch with George. That's not George.
Yeah, we're also not talking about George now.
We're not talking about George at all. We're going to talk about George later. But for now, it's Canyon Meadows Cinemas. I am on the ball today, boys. Canyon Meadows Cinemas are open for their delicious concessions. Popcorn, corn dogs, mini donuts, and more. Open Thursdays 4 to 9, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday 12 to 9 for takeout via curbside pickup. Just go to canyonmeadows.ca and enter your order. And by the way, by being one of our faithful Film Rage listeners, you can get 15% off. Just enter the promo code RAGEON. That's RAGEON to claim your 15% discount. Or if you would rather have your snacks delivered, that is possible as well through Skip the Dishes, Uber Eats, and DoorDash throughout Calgary. For more details, visit canyonmeadows.ca. And here, CMC would like to thank you for your continued support, and we hope to see you again soon at the cinema.
That was the sweet, sexiest commercial I've ever heard.
Glad you felt that way, Jim.
There's a lot of boners happening today. I got a dance boner. Stream, and what?
We're streaming, Jim. And we're going to start with The Power, which is currently playing on Shudder. Dum dum dum. All right, so it is from 2021. The Power is set in 1974 London when the trade unions and the government were at war, causing blackouts to be ordered every night to conserve power. The story takes place at a hospital where a presence haunts a young nurse. This film is shot as well as any movie that I've seen, as for the most part, it takes place in the dark. The film is shot, the lighting was near perfect in a movie that required little light. It allowed us to experience what was taking place in the shadows without sacrificing any of the creepiness. At its heart, it's a ghost story, which tends to turn me off to begin with, but it kept my attention throughout, and at no point was it boring. But alas, it was a ghost story, and, you know, it wasn't that special a ghost story. little predictable. The twist ending was pretty predictable. As soon as I saw the dude at the beginning of the movie, I'm like, well, he looks like a weasel. Anyways, it was a meh. That couldn't have gone any less smoothly.
Well, you know what? But it's kind of like that movie, The Power,
Yeah.
on Shudder.
Dum-dum.
Thank you. First off, I need to say, Devine Henry was outstanding as the matron, by the way. Don't you think so? I thought she was amazing. Just a very small bit part, but man, she had like the whole ratchet thing going on. I was like, okay, scary nurse. I'm kind of turned on. Another reason for
There's another way out.
I love the long away tight shots and the fact that our lead character, Val, played by Rose Williams, is also afraid of the dark, which helps to build the creep and the fear. Sound and music was done very well to build tension with the lack of music and sound at times. Then overwhelmingly, the sound and was kind of manic at other times. So it was kind of a real mix mash of sound, which I kind of liked. It was like manic at times, and then it was like absent at times. So I kind of really like that. I don't like it when they put music all the way through it and it's not necessarily great. So music, I thought was a good point to this. Lots and lots of dark, which is always a tough way to film because you can't basically see anything. I know it's to try and scare you and to allow jump scares to come out, but I found it hard sometimes. I just really don't like really dark films. I did really like the way
they did it well.
Oh, they did do it well, but it's still really dark, and I just don't like really dark films.
It's the best lit dark film that I've ever seen.
I would 100% agree with you. However, I don't like dark films because I can't see anything. Now maybe it's
but you could see more in this one.
More of nothing is still nothing. Yeah, I don't know. It's true. I didn't mind it, but it's still a very dark film. I really like the way they built a very slow burn and how not everything is truly explained, even at the end. The ending was a little bit of a letdown. I have to agree with you, Bryce. I feel they could have made it a little better. All in all, it was a well-crafted ghost story with some great jump scares and an interesting spin on Lady Ghost who kicks ass and punch dicks. But this ghost was just a little shy of kicking my dick into a Mondo. It's a meh.
It's a meh.
Yeah, if it would have kicked my dick a little harder, then maybe it would have been a Mondo. But
it still would have been a meh.
There could have been a lot more kicking. Could have helped it. That's all I'm saying.
There you go. All right, what else did we see, Jim?
We saw Nomadland on Disney Plus. After losing everything in the Great Recession, a woman embarks on a journey through the American West, living as a van-dwelling modern-day nomad. Directed by Chloe Zhao. Is that the right pronunciation?
Zhao.
Zhao. Oh, thank you. Yes, that makes more sense now that I know that that's Zhao. And it was based on a book by Jessica Bruder. But I guess Chloe also did the script, I think, a little bit. Stars Frances McDormand and a bunch of other people, but let's face it, it's all about Frances McDormand in this film. So let's just talk about her for another hour. This film is a journey of one woman showing a whole group of people who live on the edges of society, struggling to live and become nomadic, to move their vans or lives across the country to follow work, to live. But mostly it's one woman's journey. That woman is the mesmerizing Frances McDormand. She is so into this character and so natural in everything she does in this film. This is one character film sprinkled with a few other people that intersect her life. The film itself does inch along with really not much that happens other than Frances's life unfolding to all levels of despair, and yet some hopefulness. I love everything about motherfucking Frances McDormand. The film itself, I found it a little bit of a slacker film, which I normally hate. But the beauty of her acting and her quiet, unassuming persona kept me wanting to see where she went and what would happen to her next. It's a Mondo, but only because of her. I don't think even motherfucking Viola Davis could have pulled this one off. I am now dreaming of the day when the two queens of film battle head to head for who is the most mesmerizing actor on the planet. I don't even think there's a man alive that comes close to these two. Frances McDormand and Viola Davis, can you please make a movie together?
All right.
It's a Mondo.
Oh. All right, so Frances McDormand and David Strathern are the only two actors in this, as far as I could tell. Why are we paying actors the big bucks when Nomadland and Concrete Cowboys has showed us that using the actual people from these worlds is better than any Hollywood types? Nobody could have played Patty better than Patty. And you know what? Nobody could have played Linda better than Linda. So why are we casting anybody else? We need to come up with more movies with this, where we can just shove the people that this is about right into the film. They did a tremendous job. This was a wonderful film that felt so genuine, and it had such a great performance from McDormand that I could not have enjoyed this film more. The ability of McDormand as Fern to convey effective emotion with every glance, every wry smile, and every reaction was something to watch. Fern is an unforgettable character, and her supporting cast is up to the challenge of sharing the screen with her. The desperation, the caring, the grief, the humility, it is all presented perfectly. As you watch the story, you feel you are there with Fern. And that is a credit to director Chloe Zhao. This movie was a darn near perfect Mondo.
It was great. So, Murray, did you actually get to see this one yet?
No, sadly, I have not had time to watch anything this week.
All right. Well,
I was hoping to watch it on Saturday, but we kind of did the podcast earlier, so
we did. But we'll definitely get Murray's take on this because Murray has access. Murray has access to Apple Plus, or not Apple Plus, Disney Plus now. So life is good, as they say.
Disney, they're the worst.
They're the worst.
Evil.
All right, so we pretty much agreed on that one, Jim.
Yeah, well, I think we agreed on the first one too. So I don't.
Ooh,
are we going to agree on this? Are we going to agree on this next?
I'm going to say we're not going to agree on this. That is my prediction.
I think we will.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, I feel pretty strongly about this one.
Okay, well, let's hear it, bitch.
The Man Who Sold His Skin. This is on video on demand right now. It is from 2020.
And it's nominated for some kind of award, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's nominated for like best, what do they call it these days? Best
foreign language film?
Foreign language film.
I believe is that what they call it?
No, they don't call it that. They call it Best International Feature or something.
Yes, International Feature, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank God we have Murray back.
Is it nominated? I didn't notice.
Yes, it has.
So, The Man Who Sold His Skin is the story of Sam, a Syrian refugee who literally sells his back that is transformed into a work of art to be displayed for the world to see. This started out with a tremendous amount of potential. The concept is sound as it puts forward many serious topics, such as the treatment of refugees and the premise that a person in some circumstances has less rights than a piece of art. As a refugee, Sam was unable to cross borders, but as a work of art, he could go anywhere he pleased. It also had some views on the exploitation of the refugee and some overly simplified views on identity, race, and class. Overall, I liked the concept, and I was actually really enjoying the film, and then it took a ridiculous turn at the end that turned all the potential into a pile of crap. The ending made no sense as, number one, the artist showed many times that he cared little for Sam, and it is not believable that he would go so out of his way to help him out. And number two, I will just say, cloning? Really? What a ridiculous ending to go through. What a ridiculous ending to a thought-provoking initial concept. This was a rage.
Oh, I guess we are going to match up. We aren't going to match up. I didn't think you would. I knew where you would have problems. I already knew that, but I had those same problems. I just didn't hate it as much. Okay, so music was subdued and barely used. The concept of this film, although influenced by an art deal for someone else's skin with a tattoo.
A believable art deal, not like this art deal, but go ahead.
Yep. Was influenced by an art deal for someone else's skin with a tattoo. The original story of
I'd sign up for that deal, by the way.
Yeah, so would I. Speaking of that, we may talk about that later. Right. Influence of the writer is nothing like this film, though. And so I don't even consider it relevant as a reference. And yet you search this film and they talk about this guy who influenced this movie. It has nothing to do with that same story. Nope. This film has such cultural relevance with what is happening in Syria and in places where refugees are abundant. Has a similar feel to that doc we saw a few weeks ago, Love Child, I felt, where it showed Arabic cultures being persecuted for one reason or another. I love the story idea and the whole way this film unfolds. It moves at a fairly steady but slow pace, and the film covers some heavy topics of human trafficking and human rights, but only just briefly, and it doesn't get preachy, but points are definitely made. The story, as we reach the end, though, kind of loses its passion and momentum.
To say the least.
Yeah. Although the film gets a piece of art, it has a predictable ending, and ultimately trying too hard, and I'm going to say this, to be a westernized film, stole some of the soul of its Eastern-inspired tale. For that, unfortunately, I have to give it a pop art, wishing it was a masterpiece. Meh.
How was that a predictable ending? That was a ridiculous ending. But it wasn't predictable.
The cloning part was...
You're thinking of like midway through, oh yeah, it's definitely going to be, there's going to be some cloning involved in this story.
No, the cloning part was the only spin, but
ridiculous.
Did you know you knew he was going to live at the end, and you knew that was all. The cloning part was just like, okay, what? That didn't even make sense.
All of a sudden, we turned into a sci-fi movie. I mean, really, this artist is going to shell out like, or I don't know where the millions. I don't know what it costs to clone someone's back, and then he's going to redo the tattoo. Like, it's all just stupid.
Okay, well, I didn't hate that part as much as you.
It was ridiculous. Yeah, I'm spoiling the ending, and I don't care. Because it was such crap. No one should watch this. How can it be nominated for anything?
But no one's going to see it anyway.
Well, no, a lot of people will see this because
they will, because it's nominated.
Yeah, unless it wins.
But again, here's a scenario where the majority of this movie was good. There was good concepts. There was good.
The concept was excellent,
and the message. There was some good.
The message was excellent.
Yes, and because of cloning,
the good intentions.
It went from.
Yeah, the road to good intentions, my friend.
You and your ending. 5 minutes 5 minutes of cinema causes the whole movie to go to a rage.
It's like, what is going on? I thought like 20 minutes in, I was like, okay, I'm digging this. This might be a Mondo. And by the end, they just took a big crap on my eyes. I did not like this.
It's kind of, so, when you're making cupcakes, well, I know Bryce doesn't, but when Murray and I, when we make cupcakes, and you got the squeezer and you're squeezing the what's that stuff? Icing. Yeah. Thank you. And then I'm just thinking of it being a thing of poop that's been squeezed in Bryce's eyes right now. Oh well,
that's about right.
Well, so you completely nailed it. We did not agree. I didn't think it would make you rage. But...
it was so stupid. Like we almost went into sci-fi by the end. It was like, well, really?
Well, one comment about it being a clone was sci-fi, but other than that,
yeah,
you do know that cloning is real, right? Dolly.
I know. I understand cloning is real. I would imagine that it costs a lot. I would imagine that nobody's gonna. No, it would never happen. It was so dumb. Oh yeah, this is based on a real story. Sure, it is.
No, it wasn't.
It was the stupidest freaking ending that's ever. It was so bad.
Well, I I want to say I respect your passion for the rage. Yeah, I think I'll just say that. I think I'll just say that. I'm glad you're raging already because we're moving into the next film now.
I don't know why I'm playing that music. That's weird.
I don't know. But I mean, we're talking about, and I don't know why my notes are half done from last week too. So what does that tell you?
Yes, they are.
Yeah. So we got to see another film that's playing on HotDocs. So for those people that are listening, we got to see a preview, actually a couple of previews, because Fanny's playing at HotDocs too.
By the way, once again, see Fanny. Fanny's awesome.
Fanny is really awesome. So HotDocs, for those people who don't know, you go to hotdocs.ca, or for the old people listening, https://hotdocs.ca/ April 29th to May 9th. We got to see from our friends at gat.ca, the PR group, the face of Anonymous. So and you know what? Trying to get anything out of IMDb on this movie was impossible. So I made my own synopsis up. Think V for Vendetta mask, but in real life. But no, but that is the mask that this one faceless hacker group called Anonymous used to wear. And this is the story of the man who started it all and where he is now.
There you go. Did he really start it?
Yeah, I don't know if he actually started it. He joined them.
Yeah, he didn't start it.
Well, he kind of became the face of it.
He was the face of it. Yeah.
Not by their choice.
Yeah. So this doc has a ton of content and goes in a few different directions, but really follows the man known as Commander X. I found the content of this doc very interesting, as it was going over and through the past of Commander X. And the whole Anonymous movement is a very fascinating story. The story was fairly tight and kept you sort of refocused on this very strange and apparently genius hacker / activist. The other peripheral members of Anonymous really did seem sane and moved on with their worlds, but our Commander X lived in exile. I found it interesting and educational as a well-crafted doc, but I didn't love it. Not really sure why. So I'm giving it a meh. But if Murray and Bryce can maybe convince me otherwise, I could maybe be swayed. I didn't love this doc. I found it interesting, but I didn't love it. It's a meh. Murray, do you want to go next?
Yeah, it's the one actually I did see while I was, waiting to see everything else. He was an interesting character, that's for sure. I'm not a big fan of documentaries in the first place. But yeah, I don't know a lot about hacking, the world of hacking, and I thought it kind of cool that they were trying to take down fascist dictators and stuff, as opposed to just trying to get rich or destroy the world. But yeah, this guy just seemed like somebody's crazy old uncle. I still don't believe he actually knows how to get on a computer and hack things. He just seems like somebody's crazy old uncle. But yeah, he was interesting. And yeah, he lived on the streets and he had a laptop and he used public Wi-Fi to hack stuff. I'm like, okay. And the fact that he actually got across the border,
from Canada right down into Mexico.
Canada, from Toronto to Winnipeg, and down south, and just walked across the freaking border because there's no wall there. And yeah, it was. I enjoyed it. I definitely wouldn't give it a Mondo, but I mean, as documentaries go, I enjoyed it.
There you go. All right, Bracey, what you got, baby?
The story of Commander X of Anonymous is told. If you're really wanting to know more about him specifically, then this film is exactly what you're looking for. This was a very interesting look at the commander as we learned his perspective on his influence on the movement, as well as other top organizers from Anonymous who lend their opinion on Commander X. As would be expected, Commander X has a very high opinion on his contributions to the movement. And also to be expected, no one else seems to share this opinion. Yet for years, he was the face of Anonymous, This was an association, of course, that was about not having a face. Doc was interesting with its recent interviews as it pertains to Commander X. It covered a lot of ground already covered better in We Are Anonymous from 2012, but also had some mildly interesting updates on people who were involved in the movement. The documentary was just okay. It was meh.
What? Here's another case, and I dare to say it, we all agreed. Murray. Murray, another case that we do agree on some things. You like to say don't.
I probably enjoyed it more than you guys did, but
it's still a meh.
Yeah, it takes a lot to me. A Mondo documentary, such thing doesn't exist in my world.
Hail Satan.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one either.
All right.
Temperature rising. Vision blurring. Rage taking over.
Well, I didn't have a lot of stuff to be angry about this week, mostly because I had my mind preoccupied by a bunch of other things going on. And, unlike Bryce, I didn't have anything to rage about film-wise. Well, I do, but that's coming up later. So I'm going to complain about the fact that the NHL, which pretty much is shutting down NHL teams pretty much every other day because every single person gets COVID on their team, is allowed to go and play around wherever they want all over the fucking countries. And yet I still can't see theaters and cinemas. So I'm like, what is wrong with the balance in the universe when hockey players can just do whatever they want because they make more money than obviously theater workers? So yeah, that's my rage. It's very simple. I'm still mad I can't go see a movie in theaters, and I'm upset that NHL is still going on, and yet there's COVID rampant through the whole league. That's my rage. That's it.
Yeah, fair enough. My rage is still about the man who sold his skin for a couple of reasons. Number one, this is the dumbest ending ever. Why do you have such a good concept and just wreck it with the ending? Plus the fact that how on earth is this nominated for any type of award? I am just baffled. There were so many good foreign films last year. How on earth did this get sneaked through the cracks? I mean, I don't have the list in front of me, but there's so many movies last year. I had a few of them on my top 10 that were foreign films, and I think one of them made it. So it's like, I'm just tired of, number one, wasted potential, because this was a great concept that should have been a great movie. And the fact that the Academy can look at this movie and decide that it's one of the top 5 foreign films of the year. So I'm double raging this week. Boo to the Academy. Boo to bad writing. That's my rage.
Yeah, it's a good enough reason to rage.
There you go.
True.
Rage subsiding. Pulse slowing. Anger fading.
So we now get to talk about George, which we've been, letting you people know that we've been wanting to talk about George for quite some time. And I kind of miss George. I think we need to have a special episode to bring him back sometime. Yep. I believe Cube, Japan style, is coming soon, and he'll be back with us. But here's a promo from our buddy George.
Hey everybody, George here, host of the Best Little Horror House in Philly, the show where we talk about the best horror movie ever made, according to our guest at least. It's a real fun show where every episode I agree that the movie our guest chose is the best, and we get into where their love of horror started, before discussing the movie in detail, the background, the themes, specific call-outs, before ultimately summing up why it's not just good, but it's the best horror movie ever made. And we've had some incredible guests ranging from horror icons like Caroline Williams from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, Rich Sommer from Summer of '84, and Anthony DeBlasi, director of Midnight Meat Train and Last Shift, all the way to some of my favorite comedians like Neil Campbell, Jeff Dutton, Betsy Sidaro, Joe Wangert, Tim Kalpakis, and more. So listen to the best little horror house in Philly wherever you podcast and ask yourself this.
What's your favorite scary movie?